Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of a Junior VC Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, Mazin, and this week I'm joined by Manshi and Shelly. And we're going to talk about a Junior VC's piece, Can Hasura's API link the world's data? So to get us started, Shelly, can you tell us why we chose to write about this company this week?
Yeah, hi Mazin. I think why we chose to write about it is pretty much because not really a lot of people know about this company. Hasura turned unicorn this year, and we don't, not a lot of people have heard about it. So through this story, we are trying to explore what Hasura is about, how their journey started back in 2016, and what's their path to growth is right now. Yeah, we will be exploring it as we go along this conversation.
Sounds great. Thanks, Shelly. So let's get us started by talking about their origins in 2016 and how did the company get started?
Sure. The journey to the main product that they have is very not very straightforward. So one of the co-founders, Rajoshi, she had just moved to Chennai and she was looking for some good home cooked food or local delicacies. Because of a busy schedule, she was not able to go on her feet. So she decided that okay, let's try delivery apps. But what she found out was that delivery apps were not really catering to the local or homemade food category. So she decided to start a food delivery company that would specifically cater to the home food delivery. Now you might be wondering how is food delivery related to what Hasura is doing with APIs and everything. Rajoshi was a business entrepreneur. She was looking for someone from tech who could help her build this product. That's where she met Tanmay, who had just graduated from an engineering college in Madras, and he was also looking to start his own company and not join the offer that he had got from the campus. Both of them together had an affinity for food. I think that's where they clicked and they started working on building this tool. However, back in 2016, I think a lot of firms did not have their tech stack figured. Nowadays, we talk about the tech stack and everything, but I think back 5 or 6 years earlier, it was not very structured. So Tanmay, when he started the app development process, he found that a lot of things were not very streamlined, and a lot of repetitive work also had to be done. And thirdly, the databases were not talking to each other. So backend and front end were not talking to each other, and everything was kind of manual and repetitive. So to simplify this process, he started building a tech stack for himself, and they developed a soft platform called Procrust, which would basically store the databases and help the developers develop faster. In the sense that they did not have to worry about changes at the backend because that was taken care of by this platform. Uh, and so now they developed this Progress tool. That was an insight tool for their food delivery app. But what happened is that when this got launched, the buzz spread in the city, and there were some other developers who were also looking to simplify their app development process. And they reached out to Tanmay and Rajoshi and wanted to check out this product, like how does it work. And it People got interested, and then Tanmay and Rajesh figured that okay, we have built something that a lot of other people want. So they quickly pivoted from making a food delivery app to this software that could actually help the developers build more products. So from a B2C food delivery app, they moved to sort of B2C developer tools company, and then became a consulting tech consulting firm. So yeah, that was their journey before they launched Hasura. They built that platform Focus. Then they started taking feedback from their customers, and from not from the customers but from their own community of developers, and they kept building new tools. Eventually, they launched Hasura in 2018 as an open source project.
Thanks a lot for that overview. And can we maybe double click a little bit on the market? And you spoke a bit about the problem that they were solving for developers. Why was this the right time? Like, why now for Hasura?
Yeah, so I think there was in 2006-17 there was an onset of development blocks. So like how software is built and scaled and operated. Earlier it was monolithic architecture, and everyone had to figure out the entire app development process from scratch. However, Tanmay and Rajushi were building a part of that stack as automated. So basically, the developers did not have to worry about that particular part in the process that was automated, and rest was being worked on by the developers. So that was the problem that a lot of people were facing 2017 and before that, which they started to solve for.
And you spoke a bit about it, but can you tell us a bit more about how they got early traction, how they built the initial team, and how they found product market fit and got to their seed investment? I mean, yeah, they clearly got that early traction by kind of discovering a problem that affected
Yeah.
a lot of other developers, but how did it evolve from there?
So I think a lot of it had to do with the community open source project that they had built. They had also started an online course which had around 2 lakh students, and there were around 12,000 apps built using their platform in the course. So that started getting them some early traction. In the first year of their launch, they had around 2 million plus downloads, and it was all developer led. Yeah. So they basically had formed an internal tech consulting team, and this consulting team was consulting with the developers and then solving for the problem. There was another team which was a platform team which was developing the core product, and they somehow figured that to scale and to make this product global, they would not have been able to do it by being bootstrapped, because it was taking a lot of bandwidth for both of the founders to figure out how to sustain themselves. So then they decided, okay, before launching Hasura as a platform, like in 2018, a further version, they figured that they had to get some VC funding, and that is when they reached out to folks and got their early seed investment. Once they got their seed investment, they built their model into two parts. One was developer side and one was enterprise side, because they were getting a lot of organic traction from a lot of enterprises also. So that is how they started their model.
Thanks a lot, Shali, for that incredible overview. Quite the journey and how they stumbled into this niche. Mansi, can you explain to us a little bit more about what exactly their product is, and these two verticals, enterprise and the developer side, how is that structured?
Right. So the core product that Hasura offers is GraphQL engine. Deep diving a little bit into what exactly is GraphQL. Today, when software systems are built, the way the backend systems and the front end systems talk to each other is through a bunch of RESTful APIs. The world currently is working on REST, but they are moving towards GraphQL. Hasura came up with the core engine, which enables people to seamlessly talk to each other. So think about Google Translate, but for like backend systems and front-end systems and far more complex. This revolutionary layer in between that they build, which seamlessly enables people to surpass complicated operations like authentication and authorizing transactions, etc., is what sets the product apart from the other products in the market today. The company's vision today is to build a universal proxy layer. This is what enables them to, in a way, solve universally for all the systems that exist today and not just for one particular system.
It certainly sounds like a major challenge that really affected a lot of people. But what was the competition like? Who else was playing in the space?
That's actually the funny thing. While researching Hasura, I realized that they don't really have any competition which is directly doing what they are doing. There are other companies that work orthogonal to them, and this is something that they've addressed aggressively, even on their own blog, where they talk about products like Apollo and Prisma, which are building similar APIs, but they're not exactly building what Hasura is doing. The kind of flexibility and the kind of compatibility that Hasura offers with its GraphQL engine is not something that Prisma and Apollo are offering to their customers. So in a way, it's actually the first entrant in the market. And it reminds me of the time when AWS was launched, and then there were not really major competitors, and people were not really doing what AWS was doing, as in enabling people to build infrastructure and removing all the complexity out of the system of software development. So in a way, it's actually like a first entrant into the market, and it has its the playground is all for Hasura to kind of conquer right now.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like they're really well poised given the current situation, and also the kind of larger trends in the tech ecosystem moving from monolithic architectures to microservices. Can you tell us a bit more in terms of where Hasura is today in terms of the customers, the products, the revenue, and their fundraising?
So Hasura became a unicorn into 2022 itself, and it raised a 3.6 million funding round in the Series E funding, and the kind of growth it has seen over the years has been phenomenal. The growth was primarily led by Hasura turning open source. So Hasura made its core product, which is the GraphQL engine, open source, and it put itself on GitHub. And GitHub is a platform where a lot of softwares are hosted, and it got 26,000 stars on GitHub, which is a major feat for any open software, any open source software.
Thanks for that, Manshi. Can you tell us a bit more about, it certainly sounds like Hasura has built a really solid base. They have, with their presence on GitHub and by open sourcing the software, they really accelerated their growth. And they're sort of well positioned without a lot of competition in the market right now, kind of providing a unique service to developers. What does the future look like? Do you expect competition to creep in? How do you see this evolving?
But to talk about the future, we have to talk a little about the open source community in India. India is seeing a phenomenal growth in its open source community today. GitHub, which is the place where the world builds software today, opened its third largest market in India over China back in 2017. The government of India itself is doing its bit to promote open source communities in the country. They have launched a lot of friendly policies which enable proliferation of more open source products. So Hasura is ideally placed in this system to with its GraphQL engine being open source today. Also, Hasura has an open core business model wherein it offers a community. For an open core model to work perfectly, there needs to be a community and the product itself. What works for Hasura is the community it has built for itself, even in India and abroad, because of the unique product it's offering and the way the community is growing. It serves more like a word of mouth, self-serve mechanism, wherein the more and more people use it, the more they talk about it and the more it spreads. So it has immense potential, not just in India, but globally as well, to spread out. And their go-to-market strategy is a little weak right now because of the kind of traction that they are seeing just through the community. But I think that's something that they will definitely work on. And it's also something that is the focus of the company right now. So yeah, Hasura has challenges ahead, but I think it's a good way forward.
Certainly sounds like an exciting journey ahead of them, and come a long way. So thank you so much, Manshi and Shelly, for giving us this overview. And thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of A Junior VC Behind the Scenes. We'll see you again next week. Thank you.